Hello and welcome to episode one of Committed and Confused. This is Steve, the fiance of Stacy, who is the creator of Getting What Every Woman Wants and the owner of this page. And I just want to start off addressing this topic of what's stopping you from being happy by saying that either two things, there's two possible scenarios in this situation. Either you're with the wrong person, in which you're just not going to get what you want from that person at this stage in their life, being who they are, who they want to be, or who they just don't know how not to be. Either that, or it's what you're doing and not doing in the situation, and you just have to take responsibility and take that power in knowing that it really is up to you how you are treated. This is something that Stacy is convinced and impressed upon me, and that I see the dynamics of how it works in our relationship. And she just knows, I guess, innately from experience, that she determines how she gets treated. She determines how happy she's going to be in her relationship. It's something that she doesn't see as being in the other person's hands. I'll just start by saying that as well. I'm just going to look at some things that you could be doing or not doing that could be stopping you from having a happy, I'll just say happier relationship, if you will. So what we're going to talk about in this episode is talking, not talking up for yourself. More specifically, you always hear people say communication is key, and that's so true. But with everybody knowing that, it's still going to be the hardest thing to do in a relationship. It's the key, but it's also a very hard thing to master, and it takes a lot of practice and a lot of commitment between two people who are determined to learn how to communicate effectively. It has to be a goal. But so far as where you stand in this situation, with that being said, some things are just simply in your hands. And when it comes to speaking up for your own feelings, it's a mistake that I see too many. It's almost like a standard now that women just don't say, hey, that hurt. Hey, you don't really have to say it that way. Or something along those lines, just to kind of speak up for their emotional state. It's just in everybody's best interest for that to be done. You can either quickly find out that this person is just not capable and or willing to be someone who fulfills you, or that person can say, you know what, this is just not what I'm used to. I don't think I can rise to this occasion. And you can come to an agreement about the situation so much sooner and with so much so much less lost. And the first point I want to make is, if the person doesn't want to hear how his actions are affecting you, then something's wrong with that situation, and in terms of how much they care about you and how much they really care about the relationship you're in. If that person wants to preserve your emotions for them and wants to build them up and wants you to be happy with them, and if that person wants to have a long-term relationship with you, he is going to be concerned about the things that make you happy or unhappy. So if you don't feel comfortable saying, hey, that hurt, or something's wrong with this situation, or if there's not a way for you to do that, then that's just something you have to take into your own hands. But you have to realize that that's normal, and that's something that should be welcomed by somebody who wants to be with you and wants you to be happy with them. Secondly, you have to know how to talk about it. Everybody has different communication barriers and communication styles, but just from your side of the fence and how you present it, it has to be clear cut. It can't be Sometimes it's okay, sometimes it's not okay. This is the best advice I can give you, because this is what has been done for 6 years in this relationship between Stacy and I. She's very clear cut. This works, this doesn't. When you do this, you're always going to get that result. When you do this, you're always going to get that result. And she kind of leaves it up for me to figure out how to do it in a way that I can be happy doing it. But she gives me the information I need in a clear-cut way. And what I also notice about how she does it is she lets me know how it's in my best interest. You know, being someone who wants her to always feel great about me. Like I said, when somebody cares about you in a relationship, they want to know what's bothering you and what's not. She presents it in a team mentality way by letting me know that when you do this, this is how it affects my feelings for you. And that bothers me. I care. It will bother me to think that she would feel anything but great about me. So, you know, it's just a real simple formula, you know, of just being real clear cut about what it is and the consequences behind it. I mean, there's consequences behind every action. And just from an emotional standpoint, letting the person know that this is how things work with me and this is how it'll affect my feelings for you. And it's the best way to go about it. You have to paint that picture. You can't rely on somebody to already know, and you can't rely on somebody to monitor themselves when you set a standard. Standards have to be enforced, and they're enforced through you speaking up during the appropriate times. And last, I want to say concerning this particular thing is, if you never speak up for yourself, you'll never get what you want. I mean, it's so many different little sayings that people have, from closed mouths don't get fed to you have not because you ask not. Or there's many different ways to say it, but it's so true. Can't nobody speak up for you but you. You can't walk into a restaurant and just look at the people and just kind of like look like you're hungry. You can't walk into a restaurant and just kind of glance over at the table you want to be seated at and hope the person figures out that, you know, they take you to one table and you look sad, but you don't say nothing. I mean, you have to ask for what you want. It's the only way you're going to get it. It's the only way you're going to get it. And if somebody values you, then they're going to want to give it to you, because at the end of the day, you know, it's the little things that count. And, you know, just in terms of treatment and things that anybody can do, it doesn't take money. It doesn't take, you know, tons of bodily strength. It just takes a heart that wants to see you happy with them. So that's what we have to say concerning this particular subject at this time. And like I said, as applies to us and our relationship, she made it clear up front. So many people are just out here just, you know, going through the motions and just not addressing things in the beginning of a relationship. You know, so many relationships start off without having a little sit down, if you will, and hey, let's see how this is going to work. What do you need from this situation? What do you need? You know, that talk has to be made. You please don't be the woman who wants to wait until the man is in a relationship before you start to let him know what it's going to take to make you happy. Don't try to just kind of, you know, be everything and that he wants up front. And then once you have him, turn around and say, hey, this is what really makes me. You have to, before you commit yourself to somebody, you have to make sure that they understand what it takes to be with you. So it's with her and I, she made it, we talked. That was clear up front. These are her standards. I'm just like, okay, I thought about them. And it gave me time to, and it gave me the opportunity to say, okay, I'll sign up for that. You know, so I understood what I was in for. And even though I wasn't all those things, like, she had very high standards, and she does, and she always will. And I'm, you know, honestly, I like it. Keeps it interesting. You know, it's always something to be doing, I guess, if you will. I like to stay on my toes. It keeps me interested, personally. But it gave me the opportunity to say, hey, I can do that. And if I'm not that now, then you know what? I want to be that guy. Honestly, that's so true. Like when I listened to the type of guy she wanted, I was like, you know what? I like that guy. I would respect that guy. Any guy who can do that, I'd look up to. So I was up for becoming a better person. Better than who I already was. In a way, that fits her style. But I was up for becoming that guy. So that's how it worked with us. And also throughout, that's how it started off. But throughout the relationship, she'll always let me know when she's not happy with something. Being that the groundwork has already been laid and I have a basic idea, it's not like every 5 seconds I'm hearing something. But sometimes you just need to know, okay, at this particular moment, based on these circumstances and these other things you might have overlooked, you might not have understood that could have been hurtful. It could have been insensitive. It made me feel this way, made me feel that way. I mean, what am I going to say to that? If it made her feel a certain type of way and I'm the one who did it, then it's something that I'm going to be concerned about and I'm going to want to handle. So once again, speaking up consistently. If you don't, just kiss the boundaries goodbye, basically. The moment you stop letting it be known how things are affecting you, or the moment you sign up for that for who knows how long. And from a good man's perspective, why does this work for me as a good man? I like having the ability to determine how happy my woman is. I want to know what makes you happy. Like, I don't like to be helpless. I don't want to just be in a relationship and I don't know what's going on. Okay, you're over here feeling like that and I'm clueless. I don't know what to do. Like, that doesn't make any sense to me. I want something great and I want to be able to do everything I can, but I can only do that if I have the tools to do it. And that knowledge coming from her is what gives me the tools to take control of it to the best of my ability. So that's why it works for good men. Because good men want good relationships. They want healthy relationships too. And they want the tools to do it. Once again, we'll just sum it up by saying, if you ask not, you'll have not. You just have to let the person know. Everybody's entitled to say, hey, this made me feel that way. Everybody's entitled to speak up for how they're being treated. There's nothing wrong with that. It's everything right about it. And without that, how can the two of you really be happy? So, if you have any questions, once again, please make use of the wall. That's the way that you can interact with this conversation, with our perspective, my perspective, or whatever it is. Just post it in the comment section, post it on this note. There's a lot of resources on this page. Please take advantage. There's so much stuff. If you scroll down the wall, if you just read everything that was posted up to this point, there's wonderful links. There's people who've written in with their relationship issues earlier this year that you can learn from their answers, and just make use of the resources on this page. Once again, please commit to the 30 Days of Power Challenge. I'll post a link at the top of this note, at the top of this post, and there's also, if you have a laptop and you can see the tabs at the top of the wall, it says take the challenge. Click on it. Please commit to that. You're going to get immediate results. It may not be easy in the beginning, but nothing good comes easy, but it will always work, guaranteed. And I just want to once again assure you that all this stuff is honest, it's real. This is something that someone lived and benefited from and decided to share. This isn't someone who said, hey, I want to venture into this for the sake of that. No, it worked the other way around. So just letting you know that this is real. It's not just based on experience. It's based on good experiences. So on the next episode, we're going to talk about other things that you could be doing yourself that's